A short while back, we pondered the video game Easter eggs that, much like Easter, only happen once a year. Because apparently, eating chocolate eggs in August doesn't count as Easter too, and no, I can't have 4 days off work for it. Everyone in the comments of that video went on to add their own suggestions for date-related Easter eggs, so now's the time to see what they had to share in the category of video game secrets that you're going to want to mark down in your calendar or risk missing out for another 12 months. So, day planners at the ready for our commenters' favourites, and beware spoilers for the following games. Alright, so Easter 2's off the table. Yeah. What about Cinco de Mayo 2?
What even is that, like 10th of May?
Oh, you've heard of it! Brilliant, so I assume that means my leave request has been approved. Now, we need to move on to Halloween 2. I mean, that's going to be the whole month of November, obviously.
There's no such thing, you're making it up.
And they say that about St. Patrick's Day 2 as well, which...
That's not even a holiday.
I mean, this is, how dare you, Jane, my Irish heritage. And finally, how about Groundhog Day 2?
End of spoiler crawl.
Oh, I really wanted to see that movie.
Undertale is a game that's more full of astonishing secrets than the bins behind Area 51. So it was no surprise to see it pop up plenty of times in the comments of our last video, like this one from commenter Jacqueline Holsinger, who says, "What about the So Sorry fight in Undertale?" Indeed, those who played Undertale may remember coming across a secret room in the game's Hotland area known as the Art Club Room. Here, players can find a sign telling readers that the next meeting of the art club will be on October the 10th at 8 PM, which rather begs the question, what kind of art club only meets once a year? I'm never going to learn to draw hands at this rate. If you follow these signs' advice, however, and turn up in this room at the date and time stated, you'll bump into a secret mini-boss called So Sorry. Or rather, he'll bump into you. He's clumsy like that. He's clumsy like a lot of things, actually, and as the fight progresses, he'll accidentally attack you with his tail while trying to find a gift to give you. Fling damaging bits of paper in your general direction as he searches for something to draw you a picture on. And use a magic pencil to draw to life some enemies that you also now have to fight. Plus, it doesn't help that our usual strategy of crying doesn't seem to be working. I'm just saying, this better be one amazing picture when you're done. So sorry. Wow, makes my drawing of a hand look like, well, a hand. Not a human one, but still. Still, this pacifist route is less harrowing than taking the violence option. In this option, So Sorry politely apologizes to you as you wail on him, and he clearly doesn't understand what's going on. Wow, now I'm so sorry. Yeah, can we move on?
Isaac and his mother lived alone in a small house on a hill. Isaac kept to himself, drawing pictures and playing with his toys as his mom watched Christian broadcasts on the television.
For a game in which you play as a sobbing child, running naked through the dungeons underneath his house, fighting hideous monsters with his own tears, The Binding of Isaac has a surprisingly sweet side, as seen in the date-related Easter egg noted by commenter NetLadP, who says, "The Binding of Isaac has one on December 6th. December the 6th, for those who don't keep track of the birthdays of video game company executives, was the birthday of Satoru Iwata, the legendary Nintendo chief beloved for his appearances in the company's Nintendo Direct presentations, and who sadly passed away in 2015, robbing us of the chance to see more of this sort of thing.
It looks like I'll be delivering the first Nintendo Direct of 2014 directly to you."
As a tribute to the man who gave us our new favourite hand gesture, the developers of The Binding of Isaac added in an Easter egg on this particular day, in which Iwata himself becomes a playable character for one day only to celebrate his birthday. In-game, Iwata-san is a cute little sprite featuring his trademark Nintendo Direct look, armed with an 80s video game cartridge and a Game Boy, both of which give him the chance to turn invincible and damage enemies. This comes in pretty handy when fighting giant nightmare spiders in a basement. This is still The Binding Binding of Isaac we're talking about though. So by the end of your daily run on December the 6th, Iwata-san looks less like he's going to host a Nintendo Direct and more like he's going to appear out of a pentagram in a cloud of bats, demanding to know the location of the Necronomicon. Still though, it's a really very sweet tribute to a beloved gaming figure. And speaking of those...
The Binding of Isaac isn't the only date-based Easter egg memorialising Mr. Iwata. There's also one built into the Nintendo Switch itself, a console on which Iwata was the head developer before he passed. This didn't escape the notice of commenters such as Hendy Prayogo, who says, "How about Satoru Iwata's Switch Easter egg?" The Easter egg Hendy refers to is the inclusion of an emulated version of the 1984 game Golf for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was one of the first games Satoru Iwata programmed for the company. Sure, it looks basic compared to today's golf games, which can render Tiger Woods baseball caps with breathtaking graphical fidelity thanks to the power of the cloud or whatever. But at the time, golf, in which a guy who in our headcanon is Mario and Luigi's dad, hits blocky balls down a fairway suspended in the infinite inky blackness of space, was a big hit and marked Iwata out for bigger things. So much so that when Nintendo were looking for a way to immortalise their fallen leader, golf was the obvious choice. Not long after the Switch was first released, the clever folks at website SwitchBrew discovered the emulated version of Iwata's NES golf game tucked away inside the Switch's firmware. It turned out that to access the secret game locked away inside the Switch, players had to perform the signature hand gesture we were talking about earlier.
Directly to you.
And this would only work on the 11th of July, the day on which Iwata-san passed in 2015, making it a fitting tribute. Sadly, that's no longer the case, as Nintendo scrubbed the code for Golf from the Switch's firmware in a 2017 update, which seems pretty unlike Nintendo, but I'm sure they had their reasons. Maybe they're going to add in one of the other games you worked on instead? Earthbound? Pokemon Gold and Silver? Kirby? Go on, Nintendo. You can do this all day.
Swords are cool and all, but you know what's even cooler? Laser swords. That's the fundamental basis of not only the Star Wars franchise, but also our next date-based Easter egg, as suggested by commenter Pollux the Star, who says, "My personal favourite is For Honor on May 4th. I mean, who doesn't want to fight with lightsabers? The 4th of May, known worldwide as Star Wars Day because wordplay, is a celebration of all things Star Wars, and 2017's For Honor wanted to get in on the action despite being a historical combat game about samurai fighting Vikings. Not to be confused with Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, which is a hysterical combat game about samurai fighting Vikings." Easy mistake to make. As such, in celebration of May the 4th this year, Ubisoft added lightsaber effects to all the weapons in the game. They made the blades glow blue, green and red, adding showers of sparks when they clashed, and even included the iconic lightsaber sounds, you know, the ones you're making with your mouth right now. As far as we can tell, this was a totally unofficial crossover. The developers just really like Star Wars. Plus, in a game where medieval knights are fighting Vikings who are fighting samurai, does it really matter if they've also got laser swords? And hey, Star Wars is set a long time ago, so it kind of counts as historical. Loophole.
Radio for Vito. Heavy lift gear. We're not leaving him here.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, crazy fool. Why do you always jump? One of these days, you're gonna land on something as stubborn as you are.
If there's one thing the Halo series loves, it's crash landings.
We just lost all power. We're going down.
Look your armor, Spartan!
Brace for a hard landing.
If there's two things it loves, it's crash landings and date-related Easter eggs, at least according to our commenters, such as Gas Mask William, who says, "What, nobody's going to mention the wall on Valhalla in Halo 3? Well, okay, it's not one day a year, but it does show different things depending on special days throughout the year." The wall William is referring to is a giant sci-fi wall on the Halo 3 multiplayer map Valhalla, which is apparently a magnet for interstellar graffiti artists. The writing on this wall will change depending on the date, telling you to make love, not war on New Year's Day. Recycle on Earth Day. And on Halloween, reminding you that life is fleeting and we will all someday die. Cheers, Bungie. That's not the only date-related Easter egg in Halo 3 though, as commenter FunGunGamer987 rushes to point out. I already know Halo's going to be here. Edit. Never mind, why is the Halo ring not here? This is in reference to the hardest to find Halo 3 Easter egg that was finally discovered a staggering 7 years after the game's release. To find it, you need to click in both thumbsticks on the title screen on Christmas Day, which will reveal a wider shot of the Halo ring and display the message, "Happy Birthday, Lauren." This message was added in by programmer Adrian Perez for his wife, which we hope made up for her having to receive her Christmas and birthday presents on the same day. Let's hope she was a Halo fan. Although the fact it wasn't discovered for 7 years suggests not.
International Talk Like a Pirate Day is basically the perfect holiday because A, you get to talk like a pirate, B, you don't have to send cards or buy presents, and C, no one knows when it is off the top of their head, so you can do it whenever you feel like it.
Yar, Andy, I be needing the rest of today off for International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
He's got me there. But oh no, what's this from commenter Kiernan5? They say, you mentioned September the 19th, International Talk Like a Pirate Day, yet failed to mention that if you play Sid Meiers Pirates on that day, the in-game dialogue, Piratopedia entries, and menus will change to pirate speak. Sid Meiers Pirates, as the name suggests, is an action strategy game about pirates that features lots of pirates. As such, you'd expect everyone in it to be talking like a pirate already. But as I've always said, things can always be a little more piratey. As such, playing Sid Meiers Pirates on September the 19th, a date which I now know for sure is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, so don't try that again, Mike, really ups the piratiness to a frankly astonishing degree. For a start, forget the word you. Gone. Done with that. Instead, we'll be saying ye. Likewise with R, which will become B. That's A-R-E, by the way, not just saying R, because that is still totally cool and in fact, encouraged. These expressions show up in the menus, the dialogue, and even when speaking to people who normally wouldn't speak, like a ruthless buccaneer, like for example, the fancy pants governor of a whole island. Although it even manages to upgrade the piratical flair in people who are already talking like pirates. Observe how this becomes this. Some things, however, you just can't make sound roguishly pirate-like, no matter how hard you try. See? Shiver me timbers. Shiver me timbers indeed.
The glass elevator at the end of the hall will only fit one. Now you must make a choice. Save yourself and watch someone die. Or sacrifice your life for his. Let the game begin.
Speaking of holidays, what could be more festive than Sawtooth Flesh and Blood? Is that what I think it is? It is! Right, just checking. But Sawtooth Flesh and Blood might be a bit more festive than you were expecting, as noted by commenter Aries Goth, who says, Sawtooth Flesh and Blood has 2 trophies that pop on Halloween and Christmas. Sawtooth is a game in which people are subjected to awful tortures, like being put in a reverse bear trap or having to do a balance beam minigame. Jigsaw, you despicable monster. And yet, Sawtooth still enjoys celebrating the holidays, or at least the 2 holidays mentioned by Aries Goth. Playing Sawtooth on Halloween will net you the 15G achievement It Must Be Saw, which we're assuming is in reference to our thumbs, after having to do yet another balance beam minigame. Play Sawtooth Flesh and Blood on Christmas Day, however, and you'll unlock another achievement, this one titled, You Wasted Your Life.
I want to play a game.
To be fair though, this is Sawtooth Flesh and Blood we're talking about, which is one of the worst games ever made by humans. So you could be playing this game on any day of the year, have that achievement pop, and it would still be accurate.
Monday!
Well, apparently Mike's got the rest of the day off and someone has to outro this video, so I guess it falls to me, yet again, to tell you about some other great videos you can watch on Outside Xbox and Outside Extra. Why not watch this one? It's about times that you screwed yourself over. Sounds familiar. And down here is a video from Outside Extra, which is about irresponsible uses of time travel. Wish I could go back in time and punch Mike in the face for his cruelty. Well, see you next time.